Hi, I'm Heather Clancy at GreenBiz Forum, and I'm joined by Bill Weihl, the Director of Energy for Facebook. And one of the reasons we asked you here this week is to talk about your corporate renewable energy goals. I know you've got a pretty aggressive target. Tell me about that target and why it's important for you.
Well, we set a long-term goal to be 100% renewable energy across our operations. We've set a near-term goal, actually for 2015, so that's this year, to be 25% renewables. And in 2013, the last year we've released information about, we were at about 14%. I expect I think we'll hit the 25% target.
So I'm going to have to check up on you at the end of the year.
Absolutely, please do.
But what does that long-term goal mean? What does it mean, you're 100%? What does that mean technically?
So that means that we need to find a way in all our operations, our big data centers as well as our offices and so on, to buy renewable energy. Something that in some locations is easy because they're deregulated markets and good resources. In other places it's very hard because, or has been historically quite hard, because the markets are regulated and you don't really have any choice.
Why do I keep seeing so many power purchase agreements and other procurement goals announced right now? Why is this sort of momentum increasing?
I think things have really accelerated in the last year or two because more companies are setting goals. I think more are seeing that it's important both for their reputation and for the planet, but also financially, because they can save money. And the cost structure has shifted. Now in more and more places, the cost of renewables are lower than the cost of grid energy, which means you can buy renewables and save yourself money.
Smaller companies, can they get involved? I mean, is this really hard for a smaller company? What are the resources that companies like yourself or companies that are much smaller, actually in the scheme of things, you're kind of small.
We're not that big, right? There's certainly plenty who are a lot bigger.
What resources are available and why does this need to be a collaborative?
Part of what's needed is a change in policy. Part of what's needed is a change in the kinds of tariffs that are available from utilities, particularly in regulated markets. To make that happen requires not just one company or a few companies individually talking to policymakers and utilities, but companies collectively going to policymakers, going to utilities and saying, this is what we need. So we've been working together with now close to 30 other companies and several nonprofit organizations to approach utilities, to approach regulators, to approach legislators and governors, and talk to them about what we want in terms of renewables and what policies we need to make that happen.
How does someone get started?
There's a document called the Corporate Renewable Energy Buyers Principles, which was put together by WRI and WWF in partnership with a bunch of companies. Any company can sign it, whether you've started buying renewable energy or not. In fact, if you'd like to but don't know how and think that it's hard because you're small or because you lease your space instead of owning, you can still sign the principles. In fact, lending your voice would help change the policy, so it's easier for you. RMI has started a new group called the Business Renewables Resource Center, which is just what it sounds like. So it's a bunch of resources that are available to companies, both services, people with a lot of expertise, as well as white papers and other things they're putting together. So that's another thing to check out.
Well, thank you for sharing your voice on this topic. Really appreciate what you're doing. And thank you from Studio C in Phoenix. I'm Heather Clancy.